Between the 16th and 19th centuries, an estimated 12 million people were transported across the Atlantic Ocean in chains. This was the transatlantic slave trade. It left a profound legacy on the world, shaping the demographics, economies, and societies of 4 continents. But it also caused immense suffering and loss, the effects of which are still felt today in the Americas, Africa, and Europe. What began as a small-scale enterprise soon became a vast and brutal business. European explorers had discovered new lands in the Americas, but they weren't interested in exploring them. They wanted to exploit them, and so they began searching for a way to make money from the resources these lands offered. They found that the labor of indigenous people was a valuable commodity, and they quickly began enslaving them. However, this wasn't enough. The demand for labor was high and the supply was low. And so Europeans began to look elsewhere for workers to exploit. Meanwhile, in Africa, there was plenty of labor to go around, but it came at a terrible price. The Europeans didn't want to pay for it. They wanted it for free. And so they devised a system to get what they wanted. They created a triangular trade network that connected Europe, Africa, and the Americas. In Africa, Europeans set up trading posts where they traded manufactured goods for enslaved people. In the Americas, they established plantations where they grew cash crops like tobacco, sugar, and cotton, which were worked on by enslaved people. And in Europe, they amassed fortunes, built mansions, and lived lives of luxury. For the enslaved people, the journey across the Atlantic Ocean was a nightmare. They were packed into ships like sardines, chained together and left to rot. Many died on the journey, and those who survived were sold at auction to the highest bidder. Once they arrived in the Americas, their lives were a misery. They were forced to work long hours for little or no pay. They were beaten, mutilated, and tortured if they tried to escape. And their children were taken from them and sold away. But despite the horrors they endured, the enslaved people of the Americas resisted in every way they could. They rebelled against their masters, fled into the wilderness, and created new communities. In the end, it took a bloody civil war to end slavery in the Americas, but by then, the damage was done. The wealth generated by the slave trade had made Europe the dominant force in the world, and the United States, despite its founding ideals, was built on the backs of enslaved people.